And I was learning as I was going, and I was telling those guys, don't worry about it. I got your back.
Real.
All the while, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make my own house payment.
Yeah.
There was a whole year of that. And there was a whole year of me not paying myself, but making sure everybody else got paid. That to me, that's how it's done.
20 to 30 sub-trades per job.
$35,000 a
You
week.
will be licensed 10 years next year.
You've mastered the trade. Now you need to master the business.
Welcome to the Build Line with Heather and Jerry. Today, we have a guest, and we're going to talk about a little bit of ownership, future construction, social media, legislation, a little bit of everything. We're going to get into it.
Yeah, we got our very first one. I feel like it's a very honored person to have here. So we have Dave Hollars, owner and president of Kitchen Mart, here in the house live in Sacramento. Dave is one of the most respected and longstanding features in the remodeling industry here in Sacramento. Legend, right? Owner of Kitchen Mart. Kitchen Mart's been around for 45 years, transforming kitchens and bathrooms across the region. All by doing it all in one team, one house, no subs. That's the tagline. But Dave took over leadership in 2004 and has continued to grow the company, stayed true, kept everybody together. And I really have to say that Dave's influence really reaches beyond just Kitchen Mart, right? Dave's been president of National Association of Remodeling, NARI, and just been a mentor to, I feel like, so many individuals in the construction community. I consider Dave one of a good friend, mentor to us, just all around great guy. So Dave, thank you so much for coming.
Wow, I'm very honored to be a guest in the first official podcast that has a guest.
Big deal.
It is a big deal,
Yeah.
And I am truly honored. And thank you for all the nice things that you said. I think the world of you guys as well, and have a real passion for people. I have a real passion for remodeling and building and teamwork and processes.
I agree. Why don't you catch us up a little bit on how'd you get in this industry? What brought you into construction? How'd you come to Kitchen Mart? You know, the nice Reader's Digest version. We've got a couple hours here.
Pull up a lounge chair.
I love it.
So I'm not a young guy, but I'm not an old guy. So I've been doing this. I've been in construction since I was about 14 years old with my uncle here in Citrus Heights, framing houses and doing siding. When I turned 19, I moved to Hawaii and lived with my dad for a couple of years. My dad introduced me to a guy named Roger Glick, who owned a small countertop and cabinet company called RBI. And that was Residential Builders Incorporated.
Nothing to do with baseball.
Nothing to do with baseball, but it was catchy because our T-shirts and our shirts and our hats had pinstripes to them.
Oh.
So there was a little catchy.
I like that.
So RBI, Roger had a great sense of humor. He really wanted to have a phone service that said, when you called RBI, you reached rock bottom. So he wanted it to be Rock Bottom Industries, and he always wanted to answer the phone saying, "Hello, you've reached rock bottom." But anyways, we stuck with RBI, Residential Builders. I was a countertop fabricator and cabinet installer while living in Hawaii for 7 years. Met my wife there and got married in Hawaii. We moved back to Sacramento. I was born and raised here. We moved back to Sacramento in May of 1997, and I had all the aspirations of first thing I did was we got an apartment and I got a contractor's license. And then I was looking for spots in this area. I was going to open up a cabinet and countertop shop. And that was taking longer than I anticipated. And we didn't have a lot. We hadn't been married very long. And so the local Corey and countertop distributor, I was talking to him there in San Jose. And I said, I need to find a job. I got to do some work for a little while. And he says, there's this guy that owns a company called Kitchen Mart. They got about 20 people. He's pretty active in the countertop world. He's a really nice guy. I think you'll like him. His name was Jim Bartol. So in May of 1997, I called and left a message, and days go by, no call back. I call and leave another message, and they said, "Oh, he's interested in talking to you." I keep waiting. Another week goes by. I just showed up at his office and said, "Hey, I want to introduce myself to Mr. Bartol." And he gave me some time, and we talked for a little while, and offered me a job to be countertop installer. Fresh out of Hawaii, 1997, I still had a lot of hair, long hair. not his kind of cat, really.
If you're only listening to this, Dave looks like Mr. Clean, so it's very fitting. So yes.
Right, so, but he hired me to be a cabinet installer, countertop installer for Kitchen Mart, and I was really honored to jump on the team. He had a real forward way of thinking, and he had a good sales team. Two people at that time, and I just love people. So I'm out doing installs, and people are going, I really liked working with Dave. He was really a lot of fun to work with, did a great job for us. And I started to build a rapport with some of the guys that had been there for a long time. As time went on, I want to say 2 years. 2 years of time passed. Doing some measuring, doing some project management, still doing installs. We were at this point probably about 22, 24 people. We had the one building on Bradview where we're still located, 10,000 square foot building, and I think only half of it was full. And, but at that time, it felt like a really, really big business. Opportunities kept happening. I told Jim one day, I want to be more than an installer. I want to do the scheduling. Let me do the scheduling. Let me do the scheduling for the cabinets and the countertops and all the guys. He started to release some of those responsibilities and those duties to me. And over time, it just grew. Yeah. He and his wife embraced me like their own. Jim Bartol is still around today, lives in Lincoln. He is 100% my surrogate dad. I refer to him as dad. He tells me I'm the son he never had, which is always cool. It always warms my heart. I respect that man. I couldn't respect anybody more. The opportunity he's given to me, the trust he's put into me, and the mentorship that he gave to me drives me today to kind of return the favor, right?
Definitely.
So, there's a lot more in there. There's a lot of nuances and a lot of let's buy this piece of equipment and let's do this and let's open another showroom. But that's that in a quick synopsis. That's 1997 to, let's say, 2000, 2001. Wow.
And officially full leadership status in 2004, and then full ownership, you mentioned earlier, in
2017.
2017. So, Jerry, where were you at on your time frame of working? And I think you guys were kind of starting it a little bit. Sounds like Dave, you took over more of the leadership aspect, and then lo and behold, the economy is just great, right? I mean, you guys what does that look like? I mean, you guys both had businesses in 2008, right? I worked for a general or subcontractor in 2008. How did that look like for you guys?
2008, well, it was tough. Didn't have my business, but I was working for my dad, and it lasted a long time. It wasn't like one day. Well, for some places it was one day everything stopped. I was working in Las Vegas and it just shut down.
Yeah.
And 1,000 guys walked down to their truck, and then I moved back here and was working for my dad up in South Lake, probably doing 5-6 big houses a month. And that slowly just kind of went away. And it was just, you saw everybody around you, people you knew, companies that you worked for that were doing so well, all of a sudden were just literally at nothing.
Yeah.
Repoed everything, shops closed, guys that were 68 years old back to work, things like that, It was a tough thing to see, and you had to pivot quickly or you'd lose everything. You could not stay in one spot. And so we all moved around and did what we had to do to come out of it, better and learn from it. And if you haven't been through one of those times, you really don't know how hard it could be to survive. Since then, it's just been better for everybody. So if you came up in the trades or as a contractor in the last, I don't know what year it is, last 12, 13 years, you've just been good times. Like, this is how it's supposed to be.
It's how it always is. It's never going to vary for us.
Oh, man.
And everybody's under the impression it's just going to keep going up from here.
No, you mentioned something coming around here, because this neighborhood we're in up here off Sunrise, this is where everybody was in Sacramento. You could come up here no matter what trade you were in, drive around and knock on the doors and look for a job. You couldn't get a job by emailing or calling or faxing. You had to come at 5:30 in the morning and find the oldest guy out there and go and ask him for a job. Up here. Yeah. I mean, everybody was here. Yeah. And nobody does that anymore. and it's all very, everything's taken for granted. And, what's the word that we call everybody now? Entitled. Everybody feels like they should have a job.
Participation trophy.
Yeah. It's really tough. Even people my own age, because they didn't start so young. Yeah. Not everybody starts in construction at 4.
Yeah.
They kind of like fall into it after they screwed up all their 20s, At 32, they've had kids and they're like, oh, I got to do something. So like they just haven't been through anything like that or watched people they cared for, businesses or people they respected fall apart.
Yeah.
And that changes the way you think when you go through this.
What did you do to pivot?
Moved.
Yeah.
Tried different places, knocked on thousands of doors and just didn't wait around. Got to go. See you later. And I actually went up to Portland where the recession didn't happen. Everybody was just working. It was the complete opposite of here. Joined the union and worked in commercial and kind of saved my life. The commercial union world taught me. I was in the union in Las Vegas and then residential here and then union back in Portland. And the union's like the military for construction people. It teaches you how to do things properly, how to look, how to act, who to talk to, and how things should be. There's no gray area. And so that was like that. Going up there and fine-tuning my trade was what and fine-tuning my brain and becoming an adult in my early 20s was the lifesaver for me. Yeah, that was great.
They show you process.
Yeah, processes. And that's where I learned.
Totally too, right?
Yeah, accountability is huge, right? And in the SOPs and all that. And that's where I figured out I like processes. I like an SOP in my life daily. No matter what, I'm up at 5. Doing the same thing from 5 to 5:30, from 5:30 to 6. And that keeps you ahead of the games. They're willy-nilly. And
when I walk in the door, my keys and my phone go in the same place every day.
Yeah. Some people call that OCD. But
be the first to say, it's just, I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah. Call it live it.
But I know where my stuff is.
Like, you ever gone on vacation with those people that are like, I don't want an itinerary. I don't want to do anything. It's the worst people to go somewhere with because you never get to do anything. You're 10:30, you're down in the lobby going, this guy getting ass out of pay. I'm like, let's get up and go see the thing. Let's do it.
Heather, what were you doing in 2008?
2008, I was working for an electrical contractor. I had graduated, actually finished school in December of 2007. I got hired by an electrical contractor to do my first degree was in public relations and business marketing.
Was the talk of the recession a big deal right then? You graduated and it's like, oh crap.
No, it was so interesting because it felt like, I got brought into a company to do marketing and it's like, we're going to grow and we're going to do this. And, you're going to come be a part of the marketing team and you're going to work in projects a little bit. So you become familiar with this, but we had this big plan for marketing. And by June of 2008, there was no need for a marketing department. Actually, the whole marketing department was done. And it was like, well, we like you. Your salary's pretty cheap. You're fresh out of school. We're going to put you on submittals and you're going to sit here and you're going to put together electrical submittals for the Whole Foods in Roseville. And I knew absolutely nothing. I had never seen a blueprint. I knew absolutely nothing about construction whatsoever. And so then I went to the school of hard knocks I had really good people that put time and effort and energy into me because they were like, hey, you know what? You're really smart. And you can catch on and you're organized and you're a hard worker. And so let's do this. And so I saw the opportunity though. And I knew I was part of that. Every Friday at 2:00, there'd be 10 people. All of a sudden they'd be logged out of their computer and it would be black. And it was like, they don't work here anymore. And it was like that for 6 months, every Friday. And it was scary. But I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be part of those 10. So you know what? The service manager doesn't work here anymore. Okay, I can step up and I can schedule. I can take that on and, some accounting for that department. I can help do that too. And so I just kept asking for more and they were like, yes, here. And so by the time I was 2009, I was running a service department in learning an industry and went back to school at night because I was like, I want to have a job. I had a mortgage at that point. I was 22 years old. And it was like, hey, I have a mortgage. I need to pay my mortgage and I'm going to learn this. And so that's where I just ended up going back to school because it's like you had to hustle or you're going to be, not out of work.
Another statistic.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's where, I was lucky in that I graduated early. I was supposed to graduate in '08. And so the fact that I worked really hard and I got out of school in 3.5 years, it helped me, because if I would have been in summer of '08, I wouldn't have had a job anymore.
You wouldn't have it.
Yeah. So like my timing, right? It worked out in my favor. All my friends I went to school with did not have a job. So how about you?
There was a lot of lessons learned in 2007, 2008, 2009, 10. For us, by the time we got to 2000, and Kitchen Mart got to 2006, we were countertop fabricator, and we specialized in cabinet refacing. Tons and tons of cabinet refacing. Still the anchor service that we have today. But this was before we actually had a full-blown cabinet shop. In 2007, the guys that we were working with as a subcontractor for our cabinetry, the guys that we're working with for our stone and our tile, that worked for us as a subcontractor for those stone and tile. We had a contractor named Andy Ritchie. He had a crew of 6 guys. They would do our demos for us. They'd do our plumbing and electrical. So we were I don't want to say that we were the typical contractor. We were kind of a GC. We were starting to we needed to expand outside of just the cabinet refacing offering. Leads were getting a little slim. At this time, we had 3 really good salespeople. We opened a second showroom in the Rockland area. And so we were committed, right? And that was like the first time I ever put my name on a lease for a building. 5 years, 3% increase every year. And then the economy goes to sleep.
Don't you feel real great?
Yeah, there's another S word I'd rub these, but it was anxious times. So as things dwindled over a 6-month period, I was talking with our subs, and they were all very close friends of mine. They're like, "You guys are 60 or 70% of my business, and the rest of this business is gone." My stone and tile guy was doing commercial work, or he was doing kitchen work, and I felt bad for him. And I woke up one day and said, I need to talk to Rob. I need to talk to Andy and make them offers. I'm not offering to buy your business because I don't have the means or the wherewithal to buy your business. It's 2008. Everything's gone to crap. But let's partner up, and not in a business sense. And both of them were very, very relieved to do so. And I said, you're going to create this division at Kitchen Mart, and I'm going to let you run with it. And you're going to create the cabinet shop at Kitchen Mart, and I'm going to let you run with it. And we're going to do it on a shoestring budget. And some of these guys came with equipment, and I agreed to buy their equipment, and it took a little bit of time. The last thing I wanted to do during that time was go back to the bank and borrow money to buy equipment. So we had a collaborative agreement going. Both of those guys now, fast forward 20 plus years, and, we have 126 employees right now, 90 trucks on the road, and we don't use any subcontractors. And it was born from that kind of, desperation might be a little strong, but it was born from our survival.
Yeah.
Survival.
Yeah.
Good. Well said, Jerry. And, Andy has since retired, and so has Robert, but those divisions of the company are bigger and stronger than they've ever been. And so it really kind of created some concrete for us, and it turned us in to a full-scale kitchen and bathroom remodeling company, not just a company that specialized in cabinet refacing or just doing countertop replacement. Now we do all of that stuff. And so it just felt like the right thing to do, but it fell into place nicely. Those guys saw the benefit. These guys were in their mid-30s at the time, late 30s, raising kids, having to run their own leads at 6 o'clock at night, not being able to see their kids' baseball game. So really, they were relieved when they got to come to us. And I said, let's just turn this into a 45-hour-a-week job. Yeah. I mean, we'd all love to have it be 40 hours. And I said, let's agree to 9-hour days, and we're just going to dig in. Yeah. And we spent a few years doing that, and it just evolved into something really, really special.
And you guys are really known for that one-stop shop, right? Come here, we don't use anybody else. That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
How did you then decide to build out the rest of the team, or what did that look like now that you have? I mean, I want to call them partners, but I mean, you kind of have people who are used to running their own show now on your team. What did that look like for your structure of your company?
It was challenging. it was challenging. And then in 2010, when the economy started to get a little bit better, these guys were like, well, thanks for the soft landing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did have somebody say, thanks for the soft landing. And I'm going to go do this again.
Yeah.
And I said, I support you. But these guys are staying here, and the foundation was already there. Heather, to answer your question, what did that look like? That's
like, is that everybody? I mean,
You worked.
yeah, right.
It worked. There's a couple of companies in town now that have tried it. And I've been kind of watched. I've watched them buy a painting contractor, this or that, and it's backfired. And it didn't work. And I think the egos of those guys that they tried to buy or pay well, it just all kind of didn't work. And 5 years later, everybody's separated. And
we definitely got to have everybody on the same page. You can't. And it's not uncommon that contractors have big egos, right? Right. So when things get better, they go, oh, I can do this better myself. I'm going to go back to the way it was. I had, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I had a exceptional group of people that wanted to stay and still have stayed. Our HR director this week celebrated her 29th year with Kitchen Mart and has given me zero indication that she's going to leave. She loves the job that she's doing. Gosh, Heather, you stumped me there. I kind of, there's a lot that goes into it, but it just, for me, as I reflect on it, it was just all very, very natural.
Yeah.
Like coming out of that, they came out of something hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you went and bought somebody like today. It was like, you guys came and saved each other and got it. And so
it's kind of a
different,
pull your bootstraps and we're going to kind of do this as a team. Right. And my mentorship wise, both for Steve and I, with you, Dave, it's like, you're such a leader and a commanding force. Like I could see somebody who's maybe having this like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to lose my house? Like, and I could see that really those guys looking at you as like, okay, hey, not that Dave's going to save me, but hey, there's some leadership aspect here and I'm going to follow along and I'm going to be okay with that. Have some faith in that. That's all right.
And I was learning as I was going and I was telling those guys, don't worry about it. I got your back.
Real.
All the while, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make my own house payment. Yeah. There was a whole year of that. And there was a whole year of me not paying myself, but making sure everybody else got paid. That to me, it's just, that's how it's done.
But that's being leader.
That's what you do.
That's what you do when you own a company.
Thankfully, Tamara had a good job at the time and we could get by. Holds out. But, I've never shared that story with anybody. I've never said, hey, I went a year without a paycheck. That's just what you had to do, right?
So that's what you have to do. I mean, at a certain point, you want to get it off the ground.
It was a risk and it was a reward, right? The reward was that we survived. Had a great sales team. Those guys would run leads 7 days a week. My predecessor, Jim Bartol, told me years and years ago, I think I was sharing this with Steve recently. And I've shared this with other local contractors that have asked me, Dave, you guys have billboards, you have TV, you have radio. How do you do it? The economy's shitty right now. And I'm like, no. Yeah, it's not the best. Yeah. And this is when you double down on advertising. This is when you do things that I would never do. The guys, I've got more job applications right now of pretty qualified cats looking for jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, just go advertise. Sacramento's big. There's lots of work for everybody. Mm-hmm. I run my company, I don't want to say with my blinders on, but I can only control what Kitchen Mart does. I can only control this destiny. I can't control your destiny and everybody else's destiny, nor do I care. I just wish you the best, right? Yeah. I know too many people that are focused on their competitors, and they're inside of their own business on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
They're more enamored with, my competitor bought a new truck or look at the building he's got or whatever. They're comparing themselves to This is not my saying. It's been said forever. My only competitor is me.
Yeah.
My only competition is me. That's how I think anybody should look at it.
Very mature thing to say.
Well,
very immature, very hard to do.
I get caught into it, and I'm like, okay, you start double, triple thinking about your own stuff. And,
today with social media, and they're kind of scrolling through your Instagram. I call Instagram or, IG as the kids call it. I call it instant gratification, and it's setting the wrong expectations for young people.
Yeah.
Right. Steve and I have talked about this, I got 3 guys on Instagram I follow that are business coaches, right?
Yeah.
I saw his video twice. I'm a pro.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
You can go out and start it now. No big deal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's instant gratification, and young people have the wrong impression.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys in the trades that get a license and they get a name and a truck.
Yeah.
Then they realize they're not good at it and they can't do it, but they never give up and just go get a job. And makes their life worse. You know, I see a lot of guys that go, man, if you just got a job,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff. You wouldn't have all these problems. You know, I talked to somebody just yesterday because it's slow right now. Hasn't worked in 2 months. He's talking about getting a job. Guy's been at his license for 20 years. And I go, ew, like in my brain, I'm going, you should probably got a job 15 years ago then. If that's kind of where your mentality, they're holding on for too long, these poor guys. And because I think it's too easy to get a license and to just start. I think with there needs to be more rules, more oversight, more something, because too many people can just get a license and put a name on their truck and go, I'm in business.
Yeah.
You know, that sucks.
And who polices those guys, right?
Yeah,
They fly under the radar.
Yes.
You guys have signs on your vehicles. I have signs on my vehicles.
Yeah.
We're an easy target.
Oh, yeah.
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 I don't mind being an easy target. We play by the rules. I had nothing to hide, but I don't like when it comes to these, I call them Craigslist contractors. They're good guys. Some of them used to work for me. They're doing it the right way. But they really have no skin in the game.
Yeah.
And they fly under the radar, and they'll do the job without a building permit, or they'll
Pay this guy cash.
pay this guy cash.
It'll pay their workers' comp. And yeah, we're not playing by the same rules. Now, when people are looking at they're looking at an estimate and they're saying, well, why are you so much more? Well, because we're not playing by the same rules. They're on a different field with a completely different set of tools than what we have and what we have to do.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. It makes it so much harder for our industry.
Yes. Those guys aren't running a business. They're just running themselves.
They're running a truck. They're running them out of a truck, and that's it. That's not a business.
Yeah.
So I just get.
I've often thought that those guys will always be there. It's our job as good contractors to teach the homeowner what the difference is, right? We run hundreds of leads a month, and people, they're not unlike us in our personal lives. They're shopping, right? It's just like they're certainly going to entertain the least expensive option. It's up to us as contractors to educate the homeowner what the risks are, right?
Yes.
When you use an unlicensed contractor and your dishwasher fails in a month or a year from now, and you call your homeowner's insurance, and then you read the fine print of your homeowner's insurance. If it was installed by an unlicensed contractor, your insurance is no good.
Yeah.
Very few people understand the fine print of their homeowner's insurance. And some neighborhoods with HOAs, using an unlicensed contractor within your HOA is a big violation of your HOA. Those are the public outreach programs, if you will, that I think consumers need to know, that your homeowner's insurance is null and void if you used an unlicensed contractor.
But what about that guy that's licensed? That's it. That's the minimal he has.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that when you're competing against that guy?
Yeah.
That's what irritates me the most is like, you can only say so much, the dollar's the dollar, and people make large decisions based upon money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think people think about their home. In reality, it's their biggest asset, right?
We tell people that this is your biggest investment, your biggest asset.
And so you're putting that at risk. And I don't think that people think about that enough of, if I don't do that, you get homeowners insurance, you have insurance to, protect your asset.
Mm.
And so why would you turn your asset over to, this guy that might be drinking beer in your garage? Like, you don't know, right? I mean, and not the beer out of the client's fridge. Like, let's be real. Just bring your own.
That app?
BYOB.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes they have better beer.
Hey, it happens.
If you're wading through their refrigerator, you don't know what you'll find. I know. There's no real easy answer.
Yeah.
I don't give your best offer, give your best pitch, talk to the homeowner of all the virtues of using your company, and if they decide not to, that's where advertising works. Keep advertising so you have another opportunity to go ring a doorbell.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I've always felt bad for guys that rely on somebody else for their leads. You know, you got to make your own.
What do you think is the best, when you say make your own, what do you think is your best aspect of making your own? Is that the neighborhood flyer? Is that the yard sign? Like, what is that? What do you think is the best?
It is so diverse right now. I've been around long enough to know that when we used to advertise in the Sacramento Bee, just a little 4x4 ad in the Sacramento Bee, a couple $1,000s a month. And that would cast what I would just say, it was just a big net, right? It was the Sacramento Bee and the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
I'm totally aging myself. And if you were a smart business owner, you always started your business with the letter A. ABC Plumbing.
Now they go started with Sacramento, so you end up on the Google.
That's a great question, Heather. We do a lot of advertising and we call it spearfishing, and you guys have these tools at your disposal as well. You know, all the online stuff that's out there. Like, we can target zip codes, we can target streets, we can target specific addresses. We'll do campaigns. We'll do a home in Gold River, and we'll target the 24 homes on that same street, which is, those are more successful leads, right? For the money that you're spending. Ultimately, I don't think there's anything more powerful than free advertising that's doing good work and word of mouth.
That referral.
Yeah, that referral stuff. Asking for referrals from your customers when you're finished. The highest compliment you can pay my company is a referral.
How do you go about asking that? How do you ask your clients for referrals?
Just like that.
Yeah.
When the job is done, they get emails from us. I have a marketing director now, and Marcus reaches out to every customer that we do. We ask for testimonials. We don't pay for our testimonials. We don't pay for 5-star reviews. We don't pay for, as we were talking before the podcast, everything about what we do has to be authentic. I don't like fake. Can't be. No arm twisting, no fake, no BS. But we just point blank and say the highest form of a compliment, or the highest form of a compliment you could pay Kitchen Mart is a referral.
Yeah.
And we will take care of your family and friends. We don't buy for those. We don't pay people for those things. I feels inauthentic.
Yeah.
I've had some customers go, so where's my gift card? Or what do you have to get? I've given you 5 leads. And and of course we'll send them something.
Yeah. But don't ask. How about you, Jerry? What do referrals look like for you? How do you go about that?
I don't work for any homeowners directly. It's kind of me out there just talking to people, talking to you guys, and figuring it out and seeing if we can work together, and convincing you I'm your best choice, really, and I have to wait sometimes till somebody screws up before I get that chance. And it's worked out good for me. But the working for homeowners like you guys do, it's amazing, all the marketing and everything you have to do and all the money that goes into that. So I don't, a lot of subs will say, well, you get more money working for a homeowner. Well, that's one shot for me. Mm-hmm. I'd rather give you a cheaper price because I'm going to have work for you all year long, And so that's kind of where I kind of focus in on. And because I was having a hard time, and I know a lot of plumbers and electricians do it where they have service calls and contractors and all that, and I can see they're always struggling. And so I decided one day, forget it, I'm just going all in on general contractors and no homeowners.
Well, your service is a unique service, frankly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people searching the internet going, I need to find a drywall contractor. Or a retail client going, I need to find. As a general contractor, we got to find a good drywall guy.
Yeah.
So I think you're on the right path. You got to service those guys that feed you.
Yeah, it's working so far. The hard thing is finding the good ones to work with, right? Not everybody wants to deal with me or anything, or they get intimidated or something like that. I've lost contractors as I've grown. The work comes as long as you're good at your trade and business and you treat people with respect and everything, the work will be there. There's enough for all of us, and you just have to keep servicing your clients the best. The hardest thing that we come into, and I know that you're passionate about, is finding good help and bringing up young men in the trade or gals.
Yeah.
And which are some of the best people that I work with. The women, I'll tell you what, if there was more, I have 2 that work for me now, and they're just nice, no ego, and everything is cool.
We have 2 young gals that work in the field. Yeah, they're training to be apprentices, and they're badass.
And how have you dealt with finding apprentices and bringing them up and training and all that. Yes.
Referrals. Referrals from other employees. We reward that behavior. Heather, if we hire your referral, you're going to get a $500 bonus. Of course, we're going to throw out some ads on the Indeeds and anywhere else, but our most successful way to find employees is through the current employees that work there. They're proud. I'm not just buying the referral. They're proud to make the referral. We put a lot of pressure on them, right? Yeah. We've all been in this position where we're like, oh yeah, I made the recommendation for this guy to work here, and he turned out to be a bum, right? And and now you think you're afraid to make the referral.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of good job applications right now because I think other contractors are down.
Yeah.
So there are good candidates out there.
Yeah. What I've had a hard time with is people taking the job. Yeah, I'll learn and they're kind of waiting because of social media. They're waiting for something else. I'll do this until, this comes up. And it's like,
that is the younger generation. I mean, and I think statistics show that, in my generation, I think, people had 4 or 5 jobs throughout their career. And now the younger generation, they're on to something new every year and a half. And I don't blame them for wanting to try other things, but, be a master of something.
At least you can't, like with trades, once you master a trade, nobody can take that from you.
Yeah.
Like when the recession came, I go, I'll see it. You could drop me anywhere and I'll have a job by the end of the day. If I know at least one thing that you can't take away from me.
Yeah.
And they don't see that value or something. And it's just so bizarre.
Oh yeah.
I feel strongly, we pay well, we have a nice benefit package. And those are like buzzwords that a lot of companies will put. You'll see it in their help. Oh yeah, I'm right. That we have 2 weeks paid vacation and we have all these benefits and all these things. That's important for us as employers, that we're competitive with other like employers. But ultimately it's the culture and it's opportunity. So when we hired, we have something internally called Kitchen Mart University. So if you'll just show up, and I tell people all the time, I don't get involved in a lot of the interviews. And if I do, it's usually at the second interview, and it's after the manager has already agreed to hire, and they'll bring Heather into my office and say, hey, Heather's going to join our team. And so I'll sit down, but I say this to every single person we've hired in the last 5 years. Heather, if you show up every day and your manager can count on you to show up and you get your name on the calendar every single day, you're going to write your own check. Your ceiling is sky high.
Yeah.
No.
Because I need you to be reliable. If you can be reliable. And then the second thing, I'm going to teach you anything you ask. There's nothing off limits here. You want to be a plumber, electrician, you want to learn how to do some drywall patching, you want to be a countertop fabricator, you want to set tile, you want to build cabinets, you want to be a cabinet installer, you want to be a painter. All of those trades are at Kitchen Mart. So we started Kitchen Mart University just about 6 months before COVID hit. And it's still, we bought another building down the street. We've set up multiple rooms with plumbing applications and lighting applications. And so we're teaching these young people. So we have not had a hard time retaining people.
No.
And I think because they see that
You're pouring into them. You're pouring into their future. And if you have to go out and try to find that yourself, it sounds so much better of hey, this is a team. I'm a part of this team, and they're going to get me to where I want to go, because eventually I want to be the lead. I want to be the manager. I want to be the division manager.
We've lost our fair share of good guys who have gone through the Kitchen Mart University program, and now they want to be entrepreneurs. I'm all good with that. I've probably signed 5 or 6 contractor's licenses in the last 2 years for guys that were like, oh, cool, I'm fine. As long as they leave on good terms and they promise me they're going to do it the right way. They're going to get their license. They're going to do their insurance. They're not paying guys under the table.
Yeah.
I'll have because we all have, everybody in this room has the entrepreneurial spirit. We are entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. We've done this for some time. I feel it's important to me now when I got young people coming to me. My job is to help feed your entrepreneurial spirit, but to keep you from having an entrepreneurial spasm. Because I've had plenty of the entrepreneurial spasms too, where he's just like, well, that was really not as good of an idea as I thought it was. Leadership and opportunity. We're real big on it at Kitchen Mart. My executive team, they're all my age, and we all talk about this openly. Our biggest responsibility over the next 5 years is to see what the next generation of people at Kitchen Mart are going to be.
That's why you created the university, obviously. Is you could see the writing on the wall. Every people are going to age out, and we need these people.
And I need them to stay.
Yeah.
And if they do decide to leave and be a competitor of some sort, then I know they're going to be good competitors.
Yeah.
They're going to be legit competitors. 2 guys in particular over the last 18 months left, and they came back.
Oh,
They're like, I don't see my kids anymore. I don't get to see my kids. Dave, this is killing me. One guy left to go work for another competitor as a salesperson. He runs leads in Reading. He has to go to Modesto. He's got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Love the kid. He was gone for 4 weeks. Called me up and he said, boss, can I have my job back? And I said, hey man, right on. We got you covered. Very cool. So that, I won't name names, but that was an entrepreneurial spasm. And I told him, I said, I wish you the best. But let's make sure you leave on good terms.
Always.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
yeah.
Just recently on employees and leaving places, and that it's a small industry. Sacramento is a small area.
And if you only know one trade, don't put yourself in a box. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how human psychology works when breaking up? You've got to, just like in a relationship, some people, you got to hate the other person to break up with them.
Yeah.
It's a maturity. Yes, you nailed it, Heather.
Yeah. That's a hard one. Breaking up on good terms for sure.
Yeah. It's not always the easiest thing to do. I agree. But I find giving people opportunity.
It comes to doing the right thing and being a leader. And, and I think part of the culture when you're bringing people up is holding them accountable. And that creates some sort of self-esteem and then loyalty and respect between the two of you.
And the way that accountability is handled, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not, Jerry, what the F happened on the job site today? With me and my management team, it's, Jerry, I understand there was an issue on the job site today. Help me understand what happened.
Yeah. And how you talk.
No raised voices. But if you tell me something went really sideways, I'm going to tell you, you did the wrong thing. I mean, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah, but you have to be honest.
You have to
always have to be honest, right?
And I would say, Jerry, I'm sharing this with you because I don't want this to happen again, and I don't want you to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I can't have you embarrassing my company. This is the last time we're going to have this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But it's done respectfully, right?
Yeah.
In this industry, Jerry and I were talking earlier. I mean, I can tell you, I had hammers thrown in my direction. I've had bar clamps thrown in my head, pick up your feet, dumbass.
But that's the cultural change, I think, that we talked about as, I don't want to put us in the same box of like, let's be the millennials in the room. But I think that what the difference of what our generation sees as this is why people are going to stay in this industry. How do we make this better? How do we bring that up? How, make this a retention piece? Because I think to Jerry's point earlier, this is a stopping ground. This is a stopping ground before I get into EMT school, or this is a stopping ground in construction before I go on to law school. And so I think our generation has really looked at it as that. I have this fallback. This isn't what I'm going to do forever. But I think that cultural shift of, no, this is an industry you can stay in. You can make this a long-standing career, and you could go far if you want to do that. But it's changing the norm of what that looks like, of not getting a hammer thrown at you and not getting yelled at and not getting cursed at. Although
people need a hammer thrown at. I hated hammer story. I only learned from an ass kicking.
Yeah. I was not. You're a slow learner, Jerry. I
learned quick because it was a swift kick, having all these different employees over the years, you learn which people respond to certain types of learning and drilling, too. So it's like, if you take one approach with everybody, that's a fail. So it's individually, you have to learn which guy needs this and which guy needs that. And I think, run from there.
Yeah. You figure out too, when you're talking to people, to your point, Heather, about it's just a pass-through job.
Yeah.
And we'll ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? Not an uncommon question that most employers will ask. Where do you see yourself? And we say, share, be candid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do this for a year or two, and if you'll pay me enough, I'll stick around, and some of those keywords, and you listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know right away if we're going to invest in you, you know what I mean? And oftentimes we'll just go into the next applicant if somebody, doesn't say that. I'm not going to hold anybody to their word. I've seen plenty of people come and go.
And the answer from a 25-year-old to a 35-year-old is completely different. Yeah. And you look at that 25-year-old and be like, what the hell are you talking about? Let's try to whip them into shape, 'cause I had one guy, he was fantastic in the trade at work, terrible at life.
Yeah.
And so I fired him a couple times. And so the third time I said, you know what? If we're going to do this again, I'm not only going to manage you at work, I'm going to manage your life too. I'm going to teach you how to be a man.
Yeah.
And
Learn 5 a.m.
and like do all these stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't throw him in a cage at night and then just open it up at 6 o'clock. You go, we're going to, so he can't,
You can't crate train them.
yeah, crate train him. So that didn't work, You just have all these, so many things you want to help with. And sometimes the young guy just is in his own way. That's how you see the potential and you can see that that's got it.
That's a really good, our operations manager will be involved in the first 2 interviews. And we do 2 interviews it doesn't matter what the position is, because, the first interview is about getting to know each other, and your hands are wet and you're sweaty and you're nervous. And frankly, we are too. And then we schedule another meeting a week later, and now you know what to expect. And Dave drops F-bombs from time to time and everything's cool. You see a guy that's 25 and he pulls into the parking lot and his mom's sitting in the car waiting for him.
Yeah. That's not.
Or you see a guy that's 25 and he's got a nice pickup truck.
Yeah.
And he's got a wedding ring on. Subtle little hints. And I go, that dude has a $700 a month truck payment.
Yeah.
And I want to help him support that. Yeah. I'm not judging him for his car payment. I don't care. Have a giant car payment. I know you're going to wake up every day at 5 o'clock and get your bike.
So I don't. Yeah.
But it's the kid that, well, I still live with my mom and dad, and my mom does my laundry and she makes me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not a real good candidate at my place. Yeah.
So hard.
Man. But married with kids and a house payment, you got somebody that's motivated.
Yeah. If they have the it factor when it comes to work. Trades are hard.
Got to be reliable, right? I mean, I need you to show up 5 days a week.
Yeah. Some of them can't get it. They can't figure it out. And it could be 45, 50-year-old man. I mean, they've been in the trade 100 years and they still can't get out of bed and still have the same problems they had and live with their mom, and that's just no work.
I think you guys both touched on, there's a drive behind it. And I joke about, accidentally coming into construction, but there's a piece that in you I stayed in construction, one, because I kind of was like, well, this is where I'm going to go. But what I found in it, and sitting in job site trailers and now working on site and meeting subs and all the trade guys, it's like that there's a breed where you don't mind working hard, because it's hard work, right? But there's an amount of respect that comes with it that at the end of the day, you are rewarded for that. And there are people that are filled by that.
Yeah.
And that's why they show up every day. That's why they're okay with being there at 5, right? And people get reward from that. And they feed off of that. And they feel like, hey, Jerry, that house we just finished looks great. And the painter did a good job. And the tile guy. And you get that reward and pride from that, right? And some people, that fills their cup and they love this and they'll do it, right? And to your point, there's people that don't get that. And I think that's maybe why that turnover is there, and finding those people that do buy into that. And I think that's such a difference.
Being a builder is awesome.
It is.
Being in the trades is all good time. It's a great time. Yeah. And it's a rewarding career.
It is. It's very rewarding. You have to find, I think you have to find the piece of it that's rewarding for you, right? For myself and for Steve, it was commercial construction is cool, but nobody thanked me for building a prison. Like I didn't get a lot of thank yous, and so for me, I wasn't rewarded in that way. The big sexy high-rise hospital was not rewarding for me. Like some people love that, and that's a reward because it's this LEED platinum building, and so, but it's like, no, it's down to you made somebody's dream home that they get to go live in and make their family memories and bring their babies home too. Like, that's rewarding.
I just got an idea for you.
Okay.
So you remember the big building, and you would finish, and it'd be topping out whatever building.
Yeah.
And you'd all get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You get T-shirts of topping out Mandalay Bay 2005, right? You guys need T-shirts to say topping out so and so
Whatever street name that we do.
Whatever the job's name is. Yeah.
I don't like
My guys would love it. Yeah, they would go, because they collect like the hats for the different generals we work for and things like that. Like they love being part of your team.
Yeah.
And knowing who they work for. It's like a badge of honor for them.
So is that like a
shirt, as you know. I mean,
I just run around and hand
the end, like when it's done, we're done.
I survived, blah, blah, blah.
Topping out McLaren, and you got to put the year on there because then in 15 years, I'll pull it out. I have shirts from 15, 20 years ago that are brand new.
That's a great idea.
And I look at them and I go, yeah, look at this. I'll show it.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Sure. So, it's like a badge of honor.
It is. It's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Badge of honor. It's accomplishment.
I'm here for that. Okay.
Back to the culture and the thing and all the stuff.
Exactly that. Then it's, as everybody's getting to the end. And it's funny you say that because that actual particular job, everybody's we've been out there for 2 years and we're just, everybody
on the street are asking about.
Oh yeah. The neighbors are walking by like, what have you done? I think I sent crumble cookies to the neighbors like 3 times now because they're so tired of us. But it's just, again, I like that idea though of just like, it just kind of, it's that icing on the cake of they might not see the client to give them the final keys, but that little bit of, I made this happen.
We have clients ask for Kitchen Mart t-shirts and Kitchen Mart hats.
Oh, that's
because we've been there for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks right now.
Yeah.
We feel like we're part of the crew. Can we just have a hat and a t-shirt? Of course.
Always. Of course. So we do a little nugget for ours for swag. So we put it in our contract. And at the end, it's in a very small, it's embedded in a clause in our contract. And it says, we appreciate good listeners or good readers, right? If you've read this and you would like some TCI swag, email Jen at Tankersley Build because now I'm going to get you swag. But then I also know how much you read of your contract. And if you actually don't email Jen, then I know you actually didn't really read much and you're actually not that into the details. If you read that and you emailed and you asked for 5 shirts, now I know what I'm getting.
And there's going to be lots of change orders listing because they didn't read any.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't actually know their scope.
Yeah.
I picked that up from a friend of ours out in Philly, and I've stolen that idea, and I thought that was such a great idea.
You caught me in the beginning. I had sent her an invoice for something, and I had this whole thing, and I go, and repaired ding dots and dilly doos and just kind of like it put the, toodly weeks and stuff. And she caught me. I've been doing it for years. Nobody read it.
Extra charge for tomfoolery.
Yeah, like, what is
uses
this?
The word tomfoolery.
What is this? Exactly. But then you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I can't get this plan. I'm gonna have to.
That's really cool, Heather. I have to think about how to squeeze that in on like page 7 of the fine print.
Yeah.
It's a stolen idea that is such
all ideas today are
great
stolen.
idea.
So yeah, that's a great idea.
So I like that one.
I love it.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, we are coming up on, I think, the end of everything here. I think we have touched on so much between working, doing things right, non-licensed, licensed, what it means to actually be a builder.
We have scratched the surface on a lot of things.
But in case you don't come back, leave us with some Dave words of wisdom. What can you give us? All the years you've been doing it.
Talking. I'm a very reflective guy. I reflect on my day every day driving home. Radio's off. I got a 30-minute drive home, and I think about all the conversations I've had throughout the day. Literally all of them, whether it was our delivery driver or I'm negotiating for next year's healthcare insurance renewals. So be reflective, be grateful, spread the gratitude, say thank you to everybody you come across. It's really not hard. Make a stranger smile today. Super easy to do. Tell somebody they look nice today. Jerry, you smell nice today. Yeah. Heather, that black shirt makes your blue eyes even bluer.
Oh.
But ask yourself if you would work for you.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's a powerful...
Because all of us bosses think that we're just cool and everybody...
We're the best.
Well, really, be reflective. think about how you interact with everybody that you interact with throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And would you want to work for you? I love that. That's a really candid question. And be honest with yourself.
That's great.
I'm tough. I'm tough to work with. I get told all the time, man, you're such a nice guy and you're so informative and all that. But you also ask other people, you're tough to work. I'm tough because I'm gonna be transparent, and I'm tough. I guess if you think tough is being transparent and hold people accountable, I don't think that's tough.
Well, so do you think tough is bad?
Yeah.
That's a different train of thought.
We have a whole other conversation.
Tough is good.
I appreciate actually you guys. I appreciate the time today. We can do this as many times as you
Oh, I
want.
for sure feel like Dave's going to be a return guest.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be.
On any number of topics. I am not an expert on any of them, but I sure like to talk about it with you guys. You leave us with some words of wisdom, Heather.
I'm going to take a play out of your book because I think the thing that I love about Dave is that Dave is so good at dropping these nuggets of just positivity. And he does it on like the most random. I will get a text from Dave. I'll get an email, Steve or I, together independently. And Dave is so good about just this like, hey, you're killing it. You're a rock star. You know what? He'll leave me with like some good inspirational message and be like, seize the day, go do it. And like this ray of positivity. And so I think there just needs to be more of that. And I appreciate that so much from you because you have impeccable timing. You like just have like ESP or something. That sometimes they just comment. I'm like, I needed to hear that. All right, let me go deal with the problem.
A couple of years ago, I made kind of a promise to myself that if your name pops into my head or your smile pops into my head, I'm going to text you. Nice. What's up, Jerry? Hope you're having a good day. Go win the day. Go kick some ass. And so it's just a discipline of mine. It's almost embarrassing how many text messages I might have or go through in a day. It literally takes me 7 seconds to send any, I don't want to say random stranger, but a friend or a confidant. It takes 7 seconds to make somebody smile.
For sure.
We need that.
We need more of that. I agree. So at the end here, we do a nice little send off of who has been blown up the most at the during this podcast. So far, I'm 0 for 2. Actually, I thought for sure I would have the most calls and text messages while we do this podcast shindig. So I'm going to ask you to take out your phone. We're going to see who has the most pings. Ooh. Oh man, I've got let's see here. I got 6 text messages and 2 voicemails.
Wow.
So my day is popping off.
Just two and two myself.
Oh, can you beat 6 and 2, Dave?
1, 2, 3, 4. Four text messages. Nice text message from a young man who just told me the other day that he's moving to Nevada and getting his contractor's license. And I wrote him a referral letter. And he said, Dave, those letters, I just opened the letters you sent to me. I really appreciate you doing that for me. It brought tears to my eyes. Thanks again for always believing in me. I'm your biggest fan. That's very sweet of him to send that. So 4 text messages, 1 phone call, and 5 emails.
Oh,
What did you get?
I had 6 text messages and 2 voicemails. And I know it's dropping off today. It's being on a Friday.
A quick scan of these emails, 3 of them are junk. So only 2 legit.
Dave's going to power text next time he comes in here so he gets responses while he's out.
Hey, guys, hit me up.
I gotta go. Yeah, I'm recording.
That's a really cool way to end the show. I love it.
I like it. Thanks, Dave. We appreciate you having you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. And that was episode 3. Everybody follow us on Instagram and, podcasts, wherever you get podcasts, we'll be there. Dave.
Like and subscribe.
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Well, you can physically watch us talking.
You didn't see the Jerry wore color of her shirt today.
I did,
You dressed up for the occasion.
Yeah.
You're looking great.
Smell good, too.
Yeah.
You cannot tell that on Instagram, but yes.
We'll verify for you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.